Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Santa Rita Union School District Board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 5 p.m. We can please start off with a roll call, please.
Miss Cindy Lopez.
Aye.
Mr. Neil Patel.
Please, a pledge of allegiance. Please, a pledge of allegiance. We're going to move on to item 1.3, approval of the board agenda. If there's no changes, can I please get a motion to? Okay, we're going to move on to item 1.3, approval of the board agenda. If I could please get a motion to approve. Okay, can I please get a motion to approve item 1.3, approval of the board agenda?
I make a motion to approve the board agenda.
Okay, can I get a second, please?
Second.
Okay.
Miss Cindy Lopez.
Aye.
Mr. Neil Patel.
Aye.
Miss Sarah Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Alvariano.
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Today on closed session, we have item 2.1, public employee appointment/employment under Government Code Section 54957. We also have item 2.2, conference with labor negotiators regarding Government Code Section 54957.6. Do we have any public comments for closed session?
No, we do not.
Okay, no public comments. Can I please get a motion to adjourn the closed session?
I make a motion to go into closed session.
Okay, second, please.
I second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Miss Lopez.
Aye.
Mr. Patel.
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano.
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, we'll see everybody afterwards. Hey, good afternoon. We're going to reconvene back into open session. During closed session, the board approved resolution number 23.01.01 for the release, non-election of employee ID number 160684. The vote was 5-0. We're going to move on to item 5.1, approval of consent agenda for items 5.2 to 5.5. If I can please get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano,
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, move on to 6.1. Is there any comments or anybody here from SRTA that were submitted? Okay, 6.2, anybody here or comments submitted for CSEA? Okay, it's a quiet evening today. 6.3, Superintendent's Cabinet. We're going to start off with Director of Nutritional Services, Mr. Chuck Helm.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So we had a fairly quiet break for our department anyway. Although we did provide snacks for the students that attended the winter intersession at Gablin View. 2 out of 3 of our central kitchen staff took the time off, which, you know, they're definitely entitled to that, and they enjoyed it. The one kitchen staff that did stick around, Rosa Gonzalez, our newest central kitchen staff member, she did a great job of staying busy, cleaning the kitchen, organizing the shelves in the warehouse with our driver, Jose. So that was very well appreciated. And starting back in this break, we've had some staffing issues coming out of the break. So because of that, I want to commend our staff that has been here for being so flexible and understanding when we have to move them around or if they need to work extra hours and so forth. So thanks to them. And that's all for me.
Working with Monterey County, as you know, after every time we submit a budget report, we work with them with questions and comments they might have. So we are using a new system. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but we are using now an online system where before it used to be one, which it was just in one computer and only one person can use it. So it's a new process that we're still learning, and it's been great. So we're finalizing that. We're hoping to get the letter from county. Usually it's coming in about February around that time. We're also working on getting ready to issue the 1099s that usually go out by the end of January as well, and the W-2s as well for our employees. We're working on that as well. We are also working very close with HR in regards to the last AB 1200 that was approved in December, if you remember, with the salary changes. So we've been busy in regards to that. And I've been working also with Miguel in regards to the underwriters this is the team who's going to help us to sell the bonds. So we're working with the top 5 in California. So far, we got 4 responses back. So we're on the process of evaluating and see which ones we want to move forward. So I'm going to bring more information as we move forward on the next board meeting. Thank you.
And this might be a question for Superintendent Hildebrand, but as far as the timing of the selling of the bonds, is he going to kind of show, I guess, as needed, or how's that going to take place?
So our first steps we're taking tonight, which are approving our election results, approving so we have the 2 resolutions, right? So approving our election results, and then our next, which is approving I can't even think of how I wrote it, but approving our bond, and then the informational item about formation of our bond committee. So our plan was to bring that information at Rosa. Are you planning on bringing that at our first February meeting so that we have time for an informational item?
Yes, so on the next board meeting, on the February meeting, we're gonna bring the bond authorization. So it's kind of like a process, and there's a timeline that I can share on the next Friday letter, which it has the dates and the time. So everything has to kind of like be in order. So then, like right now, we already have scheduled the next board meeting, which is gonna be the bond authorization, and then we're gonna bring to you the recommendation for the underwriter and see what team we want to go for to start the process of the selling off the bonds. So probably March, I'm thinking, but I'll give you a more accurate date once I go with the timeline.
that out.
Okay, okay. So what I was kind of asking is the timeline of when the bonds would be potentially sold. And part of it, the reason I kind of ask is I kind of want to understand from Miguel here on is how what impacts, I guess, the when we sell bonds, what interest we get and that kind of stuff with the current like market rates. Like, what is it tied to a little bit? So I kind of understand when we want to be selling those as well.
Right. And that's something that Miguel works, and he has many years of
Sure, yeah.
experience. We've been working with him. That's something that he works with the underwriters. So he makes sure that, you know, we're good, we're getting the best, and just the whole process for the interest and everything gets smooth. And that's pretty much his job.
Yeah, but he's going to explain to us the timeline of.
We can bring that forward for our next meeting and put that out since we're going to bring the authorization to go out to sell at the February meeting. So we'll put an info item on.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? No? Okay, thank you for the update. Director of Special Education and Student Services, Ms. Melanie Grundy.
Perfect. Good evening. Kind of go around this way so I can see everybody. Unfortunately, I was not supposed to be here tonight. I said that in my Friday letter. We were supposed to be down in Palm Springs or Palm Desert at the Every Child Count Symposium. Unfortunately, with the weather, it just wasn't safe to drive, and also just such an impact to our sites to have 4 principals off campus. So unfortunately, not getting the opportunity to go, but we'll sign up for the next one and just look for other professional development opportunities coming up, and getting to be here with you guys tonight. With collaboration with HR, we were able to fill several special education positions mid-year, which is almost unheard of for special ed teacher positions. So that's going well. I got to visit those classrooms today and just very excited for those 2 to join our team. We also were able to fill several paraprofessional positions over break, as well as 2 behavior aid positions that are contracted, but that we have in place. So bodies supporting students. And just really looking forward to a successful spring and just continuing to grow our team. So that's it for me, unless there's any questions.
No, just for me, just great news on the hiring. That's exciting.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Any questions or comments from the board? No? Okay, thank you for the update. Director of Parent and Family Community Engagement, Dr. Summer Prather-Smith.
Good evening. I know I feel the same way. We have to lean forward. I know you're going to be surprised, but I have a few announcements for you. The first is we are finalizing the rollout of our student safety program. As you know, it's kind of a 3-fold process. So it started with the leadership teams. We had the staff training, which included an online module as well as an in-person training. And then phase 3 will now be rolling out of the student training. So we're going to be finalizing the details of that. I have some information for you on that. So you'll see this is the 4th through 8th grade program information. And I'll pass that down. And then this other one is our TK through 3rd grade program information. So we're really excited to be the first district to work towards rolling that out this year. So thank you for that. Also on Saturday, January 28th, we will be partnering with Salinas Union High School District and offering a makeup of the in-person active crisis response for any of our staff who were newly hired and or were unable to attend that training. There are some spaces left, so if anybody needs to still attend that, please sign up. And then I have a couple of special announcements. So I had the privilege on Saturday of attending with Mike Kimball, a little recognition of the work that's being done around school safety. And I have some certificates to present from a couple of our officials. So for each of our team members, I have a certificate from Jimmy Panetta. And so I'll read it and then I'll pass it to our team. So Certificate of Special Congressional Recognition presented to, this one happens to be Melanie. Melanie Grundy, Development Enhancement of School Safety in recognition of outstanding and invaluable services to the community. So we're the first district to be recognized. We have a couple of others. I don't know why that made me emotional. I don't know why it made me emotional. So there's Melanie. This is for Victor. He's not here. To Rosa,
Oh, no.
to Donna. Oh, this is making me emotional. I don't even know why. To Melissa, myself. Sorry. To Chuck. Sorry, Chuck. Yours is a little messed up because it was raining really hard that day, but I'll put it right there for you. And to Becky as well. In addition to that, we were also recognized by the California State Senate. So this comes from Senator John Laird. So again, certificate of recognition, development, enhancement of school safety, your commitment to the development and enhancement of school safety on behalf of the California State Senate. I want to thank you for your efforts to make the 17th district a safer community for all residents. And then the last one from the California State Legislature.
Wow.
California Legislature Assembly Certificate of Recognition for your commitment to the development and enhancement of school safety from Assembly Member Don Addis, who's kind of Morro Bay all the way up to here. So I'm really proud of our team. Thank you for all the support around school safety. It's a heavy job, but we are doing good work. Okay, now I'll stop being emotional. I don't know why that made me emotional. Talking about school safety makes me emotional. Yeah, they didn't. And then just two more pieces of information for you. So the first is on Tuesday, we trained our site administrators on Care Solace. Thank you again, board, for approving that. On Friday, we'll be training all of our mental health support staff, our counselors, social workers, and school psychologists. And I will launch on Monday to the community. But I wanted to give this to each of you just in case you are contacted. Any family, any member, anybody linked to any of our families can get services directly. So that just so you have this on hand, this will go out community-wide starting on Monday. So that's for your information. And last but not least, the week of January 23rd to the 27th begins the Great Kindness Challenge. Again, I will be launching this out to all of our principals and our teachers. It comes with lesson plans and activities that can be done in the classroom. I'll be doing some training with our school counselors and social workers on Friday as well. But this is just a little snippet of some activities that you can do between January 23rd and 27th to be kind. Also, the site link is on there for those of you that are in the classroom. Some more information on how to register your classroom for that as well. Thank you. That's the end of my report.
First, I want to say congratulations to the directors, well-deserved recognition. And I think if it's possible, if you guys can get together all together and take a picture, because it's important to let the district know of your guys' accomplishment with your awards. So I'm not sure if the board has any questions or comments before.
I have a question really quick before you take pictures. You mentioned a book club. When does that start?
So our book club for this month is, I think it is on the 20, towards the end of the month. Yeah, the 26th.
26, and what time?
6 to 8 Zoom.
And we order our own books?
So yeah, we handed out the initial ones. They've all been handed out. So yeah, I
Okay,
can send you that list again.
that's good. Oh,
And with that too, I always encourage, even if you hadn't have a chance to read the book, join the book club, because just the discussion itself provides valuable information.
Okay. And I know coming up, I know in your Friday letter, you have the school climate and
Yes. So on the 20th,
20th.
we'll have our school climate collaborative. Again, remember that we received, again, the only district in Monterey County to receive support through West Ed CDE. So we will have our first official whole group meeting on the 20th.
okay. And I know you, so I did speak to, I know that the last board meeting, there was concerns from the teachers as far as, restorative justice. I did get a chance to meet with some of them. And I know it's interesting because they kept using the word consequences, no consequences. And so when they first kept saying that to me, I just feel like you guys want to punch the kids or what?
Yeah.
And I think what I kind of gathered from the conversation was they're just trying to look for solutions. So I did encourage them to attend that, to kind of share their feedback. and then kind of share where is it that they need more support.
Yeah.
I think part of what was happening from what they shared with me was, if something happens as far as disciplinary or whatever happens, and they try to connect with the kid, but there's a repetitive action, I guess a lot of them didn't really know what the next step is.
Yeah.
So I think this meeting was super important, and that we could always have a follow-up discussion to try to figure out, because at first when they brought up and there was those comments, I got a little bit concerned or confused as far as what it is that they were asking for. And my first impression, that's why it's important always to have more conversations, is, it's like they wanted to see more suspensions, but that wasn't necessarily the case. I think what they were just trying to figure out was like, what's a different follow-up if whatever the first step wasn't working and it was a repetitive thing, and so what's kind of the next step is what it was.
And I think what's really important about that is that's why the Behavior Task Force created the progressive discipline matrix. And there's been lots of changes in regulations, right? So we have new regulations under other means of correction. We have new regulations under progressive discipline. And so within that progressive discipline matrix, that's really what's laid out is this happens first, this happens next, this happens, this follow-up happens. Because for each punitive consequence, we have a responsibility under Ed Code to show another means of correction. What else did we do, right? What were the other opportunities that we had? And so I think that as we become more comfortable in using the behavior matrix to determine appropriate consequence, partnered with implementation of restorative practices, then that's going to feel more comfortable. But it is all new. So, yeah.
And could you send us a copy of that matrix as well?
I included it in the Friday letter. There's a link to it. And also in the form that I sent out, it has it in there, but I can also.
It's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did share with them with some of the teachers, and from their impression, I guess that's kind of why I kind of bring it up, was they had gave me the impression like that was the first time they had seen that. So I think that might be a little bit of the disconnect.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah.
And it's included in our district handbook
Okay.
that went out. And that's something that we can work with our site principals on as well.
Yeah, just to make sure, because the way you mentioned that to me, it kind of makes sense. Okay, there's certain steps.
Yeah.
But in the conversation, it seemed like there was kind of a disconnect. So I don't know if some of the information might not be getting to them, even though we might actually have it already kind of in place and stuff.
Yeah, and it again, because it's new, it's oftentimes the first year of something is really hard to get used to kind of going to that as your tool. And so being that this is our first year, probably more reminders.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Go ahead. Sorry. I didn't wait my turn. A request that I have, and maybe it's already been done, and then I just like the information, is sort of separate from looking at children as individuals or what they've done. I know we did a lot looking at sites and how we can improve the security of sites, but what I would be interested in is talking to the staff, surveying them and saying like, hey, where do we need more supervision that we don't have it, or what procedures are not working? In other words, like, could we have less fights if we had another yard duty person X, or could we have better, so just trying to figure out systemically, is there some of this behavior that we can curb just using the personnel that we have, or adding personnel to places that they're not right now?
And I think what's really important about that, and we'll look at that. I sent you the PowerPoint ahead of time, but you'll see in there that part of that discipline record is where the incidents occurred, and really looking at where discipline is happening and then creating plans to mitigate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that slideshow you did provide in the Friday letter, I did like, because I think perspective makes a huge difference. And when you were talking about, moving downstream or upstream and kind of having a shift in perspective of not that reactionary thing is really good. So I'm excited and curious to see kind of how that kind of plays out and stuff like that. So.
Say one more thing about that. And I think that that's also the other challenge we face, right? Is when we move upstream, when we start to really look at the root of that problem, it sometimes takes a little bit longer and it's hard. Trust me, I know, like that's the challenge. And so we've implemented so much. That was one of the other major compliments we got from all levels of that I shared with you in around school safety, is the amount of preventative resources we have in place, from having counselors and social workers to every site, to bringing in Harmony at Home, partnering with community human services, implementing Care Solace, having ongoing collaboration with mental health services, partnering with the county office. And so those unfortunately, it's going to take us a little bit of time, but I'm really excited about what's to come with all of that in place. Yeah.
Okay. And actually, you mentioned it kind of made me think of something else. I guess maybe checking in with site administrators as far as how they're working on teacher morale. I know, for example, at La Jolla, they were doing some type of giveaway, that I was talking to Jose, and he was kind of sharing how sometimes the kids would get excited, the teachers would get excited as far as who it is. So maybe kind of a check-in with the site administrators. 'Cause I think in speaking to some of the teachers afterwards, I thought to myself, sometimes it might just be morale and burnout. I mean, education right now is super tough as it is, So I think maybe it's kind of showing that appreciation or however they feel creatively. Because I know everybody's busy, especially with emergencies and test scores and whatever. But I think it's sometimes good to take to that pause and be like, hey, how do I show the teachers, we are appreciative of everything they're kind of doing as well. So, okay, thank you. Any other?
I just wanted some time. The Kid Power Family Workshop.
6:30 to 7:30.
Okay. And then the other one was, let's see here, the STEM Family Workshop.
Same time.
Okay, it's 6 to 8. Okay. No, I got the dates. I've got the dates. And thank you for that. And I will certainly try to do one of these or join in on some of these at home. So thank you.
And just so you know, too, last thing with the dates you made me think about, we do have a couple of spots left in our youth mental health first aid on Saturday, the 28th. So we did our first session last night of youth mental health first aid, and that group will do last night and then the 24th. And then we'll do another full session on Saturday, the 28th. And we have a few spots left in that if anybody's interested in attending.
What's it called again?
Youth mental health first aid.
I'll check.
So
Okay.
if you want to let me know, then I can let you guys know.
I can say that Becky and Donna and I attended part 1. The one on Saturday will be the whole part 1 and 2. And I'm hoping the second half is just even a fraction of how good last night's session was.
Really? Okay. Good to know. Thank you. And the time of that is on Saturday. It's 9, I think.
9 to 4, 9 to 3. It's
Mhm.
6 hours because it's a full day on Saturday. Yeah, with a break for lunch.
Yeah. Now that I'm feeling a heck of a lot better,
Yeah.
I want to join in some of these online or even go into the
Yeah,
classrooms.
and we'll be here in person in the boardroom.
Great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the update. Moving on to Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Donna Coney.
Buddy. So thank you so much for keeping the drive forward with our safety and stuff. I really appreciate it. And excited to share with you that the Brenda and James, our academic coaches at the middle schools, they'd gone to the train the trainers, and they just drank the Kool-Aid. It was so amazing that we've decided to train the trainers for PLC Plus. At the end of January, they'll come here, work with all the academic coaches, site admin. Some of our PLC leads will be coming in.
Scared me.
And we're actually bringing in Dave Nagel himself, who was directly linked with Fisher and Frey, and really bringing the depth of that involved in there. So that's very exciting. Barring road conditions and weather, we're hoping to send our TK. Quite a few of our TK and kinder teachers have signed up to attend this weekend. I'm actually going to, so I'm crossing my fingers, to the TK California Kinder Conference up in Santa Clara. And we actually got rooms, even though 49ers are playing up there. So, sites started actually over winter break with me, as well as with iReady. They're starting to look at the iReady data already. We embedding some of the needs into the classrooms already with the interventions, and excited to have those data chats with iReady, with myself, and their PLC teams. They've already started, and excited to share with you some of those rollout plans and the data at the upcoming workshop. And next week, January 17th, co-hosting with me at 6 o'clock will be a virtual parent advisory. And Alberta will be co-hosting with me. So the roadshow continues with it's fun. We have fun together doing this. So I appreciate his assistance on that.
Well, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
Just to comment, the many years that I was a kindergarten teacher, I went to the kindergarten conference every year, and it was so fabulous. It was just one of the highlights of the year. The presentations were so amazing. I still do have several t-shirts that I bought along the way.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the update. Assistant Superintendent of Human Resource, Ms. Becky Moore.
Thank you. And I did prepare just a brief presentation for my report tonight. I was asked to provide a substitute report. Can you take these and can you guys see them? So I have a very brief report to talk about the status of our teacher substitutes, as well as a compensation study. Danny. Okay, so would you mind going to the next slide? So our current active substitute teachers is 51. And in this current school year, the 22-23 school year, we have added 18 of those subs. We have one pending new hire waiting for paperwork back. Of that 51, that does include our 12 super subs that we have 2 assigned to each site. And that has been working out really, really well. So we can move forward. Our average substitutes that we need per day is 21. And our fill rate has been 79% this year. So there's room for improvement.
Fill rate means the ability to find a sub for the classroom.
The actual, substitutes finding the class, filling the position. And that includes for the needed per day, that includes teachers who are out. That includes vacancies, and that also includes if we need like a roving substitute to cover for IEPs or something. So all of those combined, the need is about 21 per day. So I'll let you take a look at the compensation study. Our district's pay rate is at the bottom. So we pay $200 per day as our base rate for days 1 through 10. And then beginning day 11, we would pay $275 for a long-term substitute rate. For North County, the long-term rate may not start on day 21. What I was informed is if it's a long-term assignment, then it just begins at that higher long-term rate. And if it's a day-to-day, it's the $200 per day. So I chose a place to start that, knowing I could explain it. And then other districts break that up in different ways. You can see that in the high school district, regardless of the number of days a substitute is in a special education classroom, they pay a higher rate. Some districts have bonuses after certain days. For us, we have that bonus only assigned to a super sub for serving a minimum of 130 days in the school year. Okay. And then this is the last bit of information that I wanted to provide you, because we do need to always look at our substitute pay in relation to our teacher pay. We wouldn't want to pay a substitute a higher daily rate than someone who's on a contract for us. So I pulled our beginning steps and columns and what those rates would be if we broke them down to a daily rate. And you can see that our lowest paid, this would most likely be a teacher on an emergency permit. Contracted teacher would make $255 per day in year 1, going up to $263 in year 3. And it's important to note this because if one of these teachers in one of these lower places on the salary schedule had to be out for, say, a maternity leave or some kind of, medical leave, if they run out of sick leave, then Ed Code states that we would subtract the substitute's pay from their salary. So if we had a long-term sub in place who got up to that $275 per day rate, and they only made $276 per day, they would be earning $1 per day during that time that they're out. So that's another factor to keep in mind as anytime that we consider raising substitute rates is the impact on our contracted employees. And that was my last slide. Just wanted to pull together the most key pieces of data and present this information to you to kind of think about. And then if you have any direction or questions, then I'm open to receive that.
No, I'm glad to see that we're staying very competitive. I'm sure it's been helping with the hiring and everybody kind of coming on board and stuff. It looks like we're also we're capped out as far as making any changes to that as well.
Just have a clarification for you. So, going off of the slide and what we have here, current active 50. Seeing 53 and 26. One new hire pending, but it was a little different from what we were seeing there. So, just want to know the numbers. Which ones are?
The
other one said
the slide in the
51
presentation
and-
was slightly different.
Thank you. The one that's on the presentation is correct, and I will email you the corrected version. I originally completed it and then had Charlotte double check my numbers, and she gave me the accurate updates that I missed.
So it's 51.
It is 50.
51 and
Three.
18.
Oh, wait, I'm
18?
sorry. I take
51
it
and
back.
18?
This is the correct one.
This is the
53.
correct one. Okay.
Because I corrected it and then I printed it and I had already emailed it to Hussam.
Okay.
Sorry, thinking through. 53 is correct. 26 is correct. Thank you, Cindy.
Just a question in terms of, I'm glad the super subs are working out. It going forward next year, would having more than 2 per site be helpful? Like, is this is that something that we want to explore?
I have considered that because it's been working so well. That's a thought that's crossed my mind. So I do think it's something we would want to consider budgeting for.
Okay. Yeah, I would certainly be in favor of it as long as it's working. And I think you get, as you all know, you get better outcomes for the kids because these are quality teachers who know all the children.
They get to know them. Is Danny allowed to ask a question?
Sure. Yes. For being the one to make it.
Hello, my name is Danny Crouch. I am an elementary school teacher in the district at La Jolla. On the subject of super subs, when their number of days runs out, or will they be moving sites, or will the sites be losing the super subs?
I'm working on those details and we'll have, no, that's.
No, it's okay.
It's okay to ask the question because I've seen different models and so I'm looking into what the effects are if we do one thing or another.
Sorry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Your questions are always important, Danny. So, any other questions from the board? Okay, thank you for the update and the study as well.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the board and superintendent, starting off with Ms. Cindy Lopez. Oh, you can, okay, so okay. Anything you have on your mind or anything you've attended or concerns or comments, positive feedback?
Yes. So you caught me off guard.
Sorry.
So I did attend well, most of you guys were there. GV did have that mural, super beautiful. Hopefully we have pictures up for our parents to see as well, like on our site. They haven't been able to see it. It was really nice. And from what we saw that day, the kids really enjoyed it. They got a little certificate. It was really nice. And from what I heard that day, they're working on maybe something else on this site. So that'll be nice to have. So yeah, that's what I attended right before winter break.
Okay.
We met with Javier and his team today. GV met with them and the other middle school principals have met with them. So they're working on it.
That's good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Ms. Sarah Turner?
Yeah, I love the mural. I think it's absolutely stunning. Even though it was incredibly cold that day. I just appreciate all the work that the facilities committee is doing. I'm looking forward to our next meeting. I know that the district forwarded to my other board members the potential board trainings that are available from Monterey County Office of Ed. I do appreciate in terms of being the Santa Rita rep to the Monterey County School Boards Association, the MCOE has been incredibly good about providing trainings that were asked for. So like these are the trainings that board members on the committee said we need to know more about X, and they sought out experts to provide that. So I really appreciate that. And then our next Monterey County School Boards Association meeting is going to be coming, and then I just want to have my board members and superintendent consider, you know, if MCOE reinstitutes having the dinner for the Excellence in Education Award. Our district hadn't been good about sending representatives to that, and I don't know if you guys recall in 2020, right before COVID, we had decided that we were all going to go and make it a big deal. And then the meeting got canceled because of COVID. So, you know, we sort of have this 3-year promise that we haven't fulfilled in terms of being active and presenting at that dinner. And I have never gone either. So I include myself in the people who've never gone. So I'm just putting that out there if it happens that maybe 1 or 2 of us could make sure to go. So thank you.
Thank you for the reminder. Ms. Alvariano?
I don't have anything to report other than I'm looking forward to the school climate collaborative meeting and also to watch that PowerPoint prior to the meeting. So that's about it.
First, I wanted to say, I know in the Friday letter, we had our winter session, so I was pretty excited and happy to hear that. That's kind of something that we're moving on to doing. I know in the Friday letter, it also mentioned, I know Victor's not here, but he's taking more of a preventative approach as far as maintenance and stuff. I know I've been on the board now for 4 years, and I know initially sometimes we're always playing catch up, so it's good to finally get us on track so we're able to kind of have those buildings last longer for us. As I mentioned earlier, I was able to speak with several teachers, kind of get input and feedback. You know, the public teachers, I'm always willing to have a conversation and kind of talk it out and hear your concerns, because at the end of the day, we're just trying to make the school districts better for the kids and for everybody. So thank you for meeting with me. I met with city council members again to advocate for us on the west area, you know, just for the public is concerned. Please pay attention to what's going on there. You know, as a school district, we want to make sure we get adequate funding. In many cases, just how I repeat it, you know, if we don't get adequate funding, that means those students in the west area would have to get bused to our existing sites, which would cause chaos in the traffic. So it's important to, you know, just to be aware and let your city council members know how you feel about that. And I also saw the mural, so excited was how that turned out, and also looking forward to see more projects. It was great because I think as you see that, and I was thinking about when I went to school here at Gavilan View, how much of a difference it feels to see, you know, just art on the walls and how beautiful and how that makes, you know, a difference. So thank you for that. And that's about it for me. Superintendent Alderman.
Thank you. Our most pressing issue, of course, this week has been the challenge with the weather. I am staying in contact with the Salinas superintendents, and I really appreciate their communication as we make decisions that may impact each district. Regarding those impacts, watching carefully of course, the Salinas River, evacuation orders and warnings as those change and adjust. Currently monitoring specifically road conditions along the Salinas River, as that's a route of travel for many of our staff members going different directions, as it is for the other Salinas superintendents. We should be receiving an updated brief from the County Emergency Operations Center this evening with any additional warnings or things to look out for potential flooding along those roadways with the Salinas River. Currently, our district community has been impacted by a 1-day evacuation order for the county side of the Bolsa Knolls neighborhood that saw some neighborhood flooding. Our Santa Rita Creek has been quite the body of water recently. However, it is flowing appropriately and being monitored, which is what it should do to move water away from us. However, our neighborhood that did see that day of flooding, it was because Santa Rita Creek had overflowed as it moved that direction. And so making sure that we're staying on top of that information that needs to go out to our families, to staff, to our school sites as changes might be made or after school activities, adjusted and things like that, in a timely manner as this weather progresses. Looks like we should see a little bit of calm and then another storm headed in for the weekend for us. Really keeping an eye on the impact, of course, to our industries and our families in the Salinas Valley, which is a very fertile agricultural area, and the impacts that may have for the nation in terms of what we grow here and what we ship out, and realizing the impacts these storms may have beyond the state of California right now. Making sure that people are aware and safe, and that we're making decisions, together to if we need to close a school or the district for any reason, that we're getting that out in a timely manner so that everyone can stay safe when they need to. And so if anything for our evening update indicates a change in status, we'll communicate that out with everyone this evening.
Okay, thank you. And I think my only ask, which I think Sydney brought up to my attention, was if any other school district mentions they're closing, or we get wind of that right away, let the parents know that we're staying open. Yeah.
Thank you. And I appreciate that feedback the other morning, because the news was discussing which districts were closed, and some of our families got very confused by that. All of the Salinas districts were still open, but a lot of the area districts, particularly over on the coast near the peninsula, and that gets confusing. And so that feedback that we received early in the morning allowed us to get a message out to our families that we're still open, and that we've been able to do that. But and then if our neighboring districts are opting to close and we need to follow suit, we'll of course let everyone know.
And just, I want to just add on to that. Thank you for doing that, because I did get a lot of, wait, we're closed, and internet now, all of this, they get, like you said, a lot of other schools, Watsonville area, Monterey County, Monterey was, a lot of them were closed, but just, I know that when Bolson Hills closed also, they mentioned east of Russell Road, but that also caused a lot of confusion for parents because it's here. So I think that when something like that, it's awesome that we have Aries and those, just to make sure we're on top of that. That way the parents know, hey, we're up, we're open, kids are safe, they're good to go, no alarm.
I realized that I forgot to say something earlier, and I just want to let the board members know that I'd reached out to the superintendent to see if she could schedule a meeting that potentially like two of us could meet with our new representatives of Monterey County Board of Supervisors, who I believe took office yesterday. It was something that we did when our previous supervisor came in to just talk about needs in our area, things like traffic and roads and things that they so just to let you guys know that I did that, and I don't care which two of us it is, but just to have our that as a link to know that we need representation in the Santa Rita area.
Well, thank you, Sarah. That's an awesome idea. Thank you. Hey, is there any public comments regarding non-agenda items?
No, there are no public comments.
Okay. And any public comments regarding agenda items?
No, there are not.
Okay. Moving on to 8.1, approval contract with Blair Church and Flynn Consulting Engineers.
That's my item, and that's a standard requirement service to map the legal description of the parcels and the coordinates for registering the SFID. This is part of the process. We did reach out to different consulting engineerings, and the one that I present to you is the one with the lowest bid. They produce this report, which gets submitted to the state and then to the county assessor's office.
Okay. Any questions, or if not, can I get a motion to approve?
My motion to approve.
Okay, second, please.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano,
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, 13.1 is approve resolution 23.01.02, confirming certification of election results and entry upon minutes of favorable votes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve, but I'd also like to express my appreciation to Melissa and Jacob, who through the whole election process tolerated me. And I really appreciated all of their hard work and everybody who volunteered. So motion to approve.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, and then before we approve, the voting data is really interesting as far as where most of the yes votes and no votes kind of came from. I think it's really good information for whenever we try to pass things, kind of, yeah, just interesting. So roll call, please.
Miss Cindy Lopez?
Aye.
Miss Sarah Turner?
Hi.
Miss Elva Ariano?
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, 13.2, approve resolution 23.01.03, establishing Measure R, Citizens Oversight Committee, and adopting Oversight Committee bylaws and operational guidelines.
And with the new bond, the district is required to have an oversight committee to monitor that bond. And so this is the authorization for that.
Okay, any questions? If not, can I get a motion to approve, please?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, second, please.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Miss Cindy Lopez?
Aye.
Miss Sarah Turner?
Aye.
Miss Elva Ariano?
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, 13.3, information, bond oversight committee application. So this is an informational item.
Thank you. So this is an informational item. Our next step will be identifying members who wish to, or citizens who wish to be members of our Citizens Bonds Oversight Committee. And what I included for you to review is a sample application that I would like to send out by end of day this Friday to our community. There are specific designation of the members that should be on that committee. And to give you an idea, and then we can send that out and receive those applications and then make a decision as a board on who to appoint for each position.
Okay, any questions on this informational item?
No, is there supposed to be 7? 7 on there, or is it 5?
There are those 5 required members, and if we add an additional 2, they should fit one of those same roles.
Okay.
Okay, so if no other questions,
Just the application has a 6th category. Just says member of the community at large, which the
Yes.
okay.
So it could be, they should meet one of those provisions, but at large. I should indicate that any district employee or member serving on the board cannot be an active member of the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, though the Bond Oversight Committee might receive information items from us.
okay, any other final questions? No, okay. Our next regular board meeting will be January 25th, 2023. And then we do have is that the,
Board workshop.
We have our board
Workshop,
workshop
yeah.
on Saturday, the 21st from 9 until 12 to review our student data, which includes academic data and behavioral data. And so we'll look at our California State dashboard data about both of those things, as well as our internal benchmark data and current status on student behavior.
okay, thank you for providing that. Any 14.2 suggestions for future board items from the board? No, okay. It's 7:05. I can please get a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano,
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you, everybody.